Hi everybody, it's Mrs. C from the Fountaindale Public Library, and I'm here to tell you about a really cool book that I read called The Night Diary. Now, this is a book that is historical fiction. The Lexile on it is around 700, and it's for 5th grade and up. If you're a precocious 4th grader, go for it. But I really liked it. There's a lot going on here. I really like the way the writer of this story has this literary technique of getting inside the main character's mind. Her name is Nisha, by having her write these nightly letters to her mother, who passed away when her and her twin brother were born. So she doesn't know her mother. She's never known her mother. And so when she turns 12, she gets this diary for her birthday. And like I said, every night she writes in it, and she's writing to her mother. And it's almost like she's getting to know her mother, even though her mother's not there. And she's actually finding her own voice because she's a very introverted child, unlike her brother. And she's the good kid and she gets the good grades, but she doesn't really stick up for herself or speak out or do anything like that. So she does find her voice. Now, here's the premise of the story. And before I get into it, I got to mention this too. I absolutely love when I learn something just reading a book. It's the best. So I inadvertently learned all about the partition of India and Pakistan, which I might be aging myself, I did not learn about in high school. So I was thrilled to find out all these things happened that I frankly was unaware of. When Britain left in 1947, the country was very fractured, and it was based on the fact that some people were Muslim and some were Hindu, and they weren't getting along very well, and they were actually killing each other. And so, what they decided to do, and the Brits weren't there to kind of keep it under control, so what they decided to do was to partition the country into two countries. And this just happened in 1947, which really is pretty recent history, in my opinion. And like I said, I really wasn't aware of a lot of what happened. So there were a lot of refugees who had to leave if they were Hindu and go to the newly formed India, or if they were Muslim, they had to leave what was now India and go to the newly formed Pakistan. So that's what happens in this story. This is what's going on right around this girl's 12th birthday. So it turns out that her mother was Muslim and her father is Hindu. And he's a doctor. He's very offhand, distant, and he realizes that they cannot stay in the newly formed Pakistan. They're going to have to leave and go to India. And so this journey is a very dangerous one. They really can only take what they can carry. So they lose everything. They have to going to start from scratch wherever they end up. But the really disturbing part is that because these people of different religions are not getting along, they are hurting one another, and the potential for harm on the way is very great. So 12-year-old Nisha feels like because her parents, one parent is Muslim and one parent is Hindu, that she should actually get along with everybody. But it turns out that's absolutely not the case. It's almost worse for her that she is half of each religion, in essence, because she's an anomaly. I mean, this just doesn't happen. People do not cross over and marry into another religion. And her family, having done this, they've kind of, extricated themselves from the rest of the family. So, what ends up happening is you find out a lot about her by her writing down. She's telling you about herself without her just being rambling. So it's really, like I said, a cool literary technique. And she documents all the experiences as they travel. Being a refugee, being an immigrant, and she ends up her closest confidants are the cook, who happens to be Muslim, who they have to leave behind. So this is really heartbreaking for her. And so you just learn. I got to tell you, it's a rich story. There's a lot going on here. It's, like I said, historical fiction, so you learn all about this time in history from this perspective of somebody who lived through it. And for me, it was much better than a history lesson to actually hear the voice of this young girl and what her family went through. And it's loosely based on the experience of the author's a parent. So I really liked it. It's called The Night Diary. I cannot recommend this book anymore to you. Like I said, I just love learning about something I didn't know anything about just by enjoying and reading a good book. So check it out. It is by Hiranandani, the author, and really good stuff. So, the love of cooking's in here, the love of family, and the history of the partition of India in 1947. So check it out. Really good stuff. Thanks for listening. Thanks for inviting me over. And come find me at the library and we'll find the perfect book for you. See you next time. Bye-bye.